Hello. Ignore my face. I'm having a very bad face day. I haven't had a breakout like this since high school. Even then, I don't think it was that bad. I think it's the masks. Anyway, welcome to the fifth edition of the Pacemaker chassis video. So, it is March 2022, and in March 2017, I got my first pacemaker implant. Now, you can still see the scar. Part of it is very clean and lovely. The other part turned out into a keloid, and it's about this big. You can feel it there. So because I'm a woman, they decided to implant it under the muscle, your pectoral muscle, so you wouldn't see it as much on my boobs. But yeah, so that's that. It's not really bruised anymore. Sometimes it still has a little bruising underneath there, even though it's been years and years and years. So, uh, as I believe I said last year, unless I got the news after I did the video, my pacemaker has only kicked in once. Yeah, once in 5 years. So all that trauma and time healing after getting it done was, I don't want to say for nothing, but for me personally, I seem to be the exception, not the rule. All the other people I've spoken to who have a pacemaker for dysautonomia, their lives have just increased in quality of life and are wonderful. So don't freak out if you're about to get it and think you're going to turn out like me, because you probably won't. Like, I'm the only one I've spoken to, internet and everything, who haven't had a completely positive experience with their pacemaker. So the last pacemaker check I had was last month, and I only get it checked once a year now. I don't see my cardiologist after that because they basically gave up on me a few years ago. The pacemaker was the last resort. So because it hasn't helped, they were just like, well, this is your life, kid. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine with me. Oh, hello, people. You coming up? Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You need help. Oh, get that big bear. So people wanted to bring the big bear. Obviously, dogs make life a lot better. So they did the check, and again, my heart rate skyrocketed off the little chart because when we got the pacemaker put in 5 years ago, we believed my main issue was bradycardia. I did often have tachycardia attacks, but at the time I had recently also been diagnosed with POTS, postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and they believed my main issue was NCS, or neurocardiogenic syncope. And that's what caused the bradycardia. So they thought, all right, the passing out, that'll stop, the bradycardia will stop, the pacemaker will kick in when it's too low at 50 beats per minute for me, and will save me. Now, my pacemaker is on the most active it can be, and yeah, hasn't really done shit for me, except for that one time. But you know, it is good because it's like a little USB monitoring all of the time, which is really good. So, you know, I get believed when I say, look, I felt like shit for the past week. And they're like, oh my God, I can see why it's skyrocketing. You know, just for no reason. My body just likes to be, oh my God. And I deal with that. I have been having a hell of a lot more pain around it, just in the muscles. But I think I've just been having a really bad fibromyalgia flare the past 2 months or something. So that's fine. I'm gonna get it checked out, but they can't do much for that. You know, I just put a heat bath on my chest, and that's all you can do. So even now it hurts, and it's just like, it's a muscle pain, so it's fine. It's not like it's the pacemaker doing anything. So I have about 4 to 5 years left of my pacemaker because the average battery life is 10 years, and they don't think they will replace it because it hasn't helped me. I've asked them, so yeah, since we got it implanted, we realized, whoa, the bradycardia is not the main issue like we thought. We thought that was, 95% of the reasons for passing out, and the tachycardia was the other 5%. Turns out it's actually the other way around. So tachycardia has been my main issue. And we thought, you know what? The tachy is just a phase we're going through, and hopefully my other condition, my main condition, will kick back in again. You'll get the variety, and then the pacemaker will help. So we just sort of waited for the phase of the tachy to end, and 5 years later it never has. So, you know, and I've asked them if they would replace it with a pacemaker that could help, or, you know, other electronic device that could help for the tachycardia, but they won't. They said the type of devices they have for that is for very different tachycardia, you know, where I only jump up to 200, you know, like a couple times a day. It doesn't go to, you know, 250, 300. And for those people, they're the ones that get the pacemaker or device for tachycardia. So unfortunately, I don't get one unless I get worse, which then will make me better. Hard to explain. But yep, they did the check and they're like, yeah, everything seems normal. You're having these attacks, you know, 15 times a day, but pacemaker's not kicking in. But look at you, you're still surviving. And that was kind of it. So what they do for the check basically is they put like an old school computer mouse, very heavy, on your chest, and it's connected to a computer, and they look up everything, all your files of what it's been doing, and they may ask you about it, you know. So they're saying, you know, what were you doing on the 12th of June at 10 p.m. and you're like, oh, that was that Tinder date, you know, or whatever. Once they asked me what I was doing to get the tachycardia so high, and I was making a Christmas playlist and just living it, just loving my life so much that it just went up completely off the charts. And another time was I was just so angry at the end of Endgame of Steve leaving Bucky like that it just went boom, and I had a very bad episode, seizures and everything, because I was just so mad. Because till the end of the line, nah, bullshit. Anyway, tangent. Yeah, they hook it up and they look at what's going on, and then they will zap you. They'll give you warning. So I have the 2 wires into the 2 separate chambers of the heart. Sometimes people only have one wire in one chamber, but I can't remember which 2 chambers mine are in, but some of them. Maybe the one going in and one going out, I don't know. So they zap the first one first, and they've told me in the past that younger people either don't feel it as much or they like the feeling. Well, I can tell you, I feel it every single time and I hate the feeling. It feels like, you know, those butterflies in your stomach, or you're just so hungry you feel like you're gonna throw up. Feels like that, but here, which is just really awful and hard to explain. But I guess it's because your heart's just like doing its normal thing, and oh my god, you know, it's all in a controlled environment, so it's fine. And then they zap the other one and it says, but again, it's fine. It's a few seconds and it's all right. And then they're like, see you next year. Good luck. And that's it. It is a little bit disappointing and disheartening that it hasn't helped me. But again, I know that I'm the outlier, I'm the exception. And life can only really get better. And like I said, if it gets worse, then it will work and then it will get better. so it's fine. And you know, I'm quite proud of my scar. It's the only surgery I've had that put something in rather than, you know, taking something out to fix it. It's putting it in to fix me. So that's quite exciting. And you know, having a USB all the time is great. I know that, like, I was watching this true crime murder mystery once, and a guy with a pacemaker was murdered. And at the time of death, the guy who they thought it was, he was in a pub or something. They're like, well, he, you know, didn't do it. But then they, you know, hacked into his little pacemaker, looked at it. It's like, well, there was a big attack here, and then it went, you know, out here. So even though he died, you know, say at 3:30, he was attacked at 3 o'clock, and that's when the guy had no alibi. So I feel like if I'm ever murdered, they're gonna find him because of this. Or, you know, if I'm ever decapitated or something, cut off my hands and fingers and pull out my teeth and all that, it's got a serial number, baby. So it'll be fine. You know, they pull off all my tattoos or something. Anyway, this got very dark and I'm very sorry. But basically, summing up, yeah, 5 years with it. It's also the 10-year anniversary that I first got diagnosed with dysautonomia, which is wonderful. People might think that's weird, but I found personally having a diagnosis is just so helpful. You feel like you're believed, and it can help with a lot of medical trauma and things like that. And then once you know what the thing is, then you can do something about it. Whether it's, treatable or not, then you're not just wondering all the time. So yeah, it's pretty cool that it's a 10-year anniversary of being diagnosed with the first kind of dysautonomia, and then also 5 years of having my pacemaker, all in the same month, all within a few days of each other. But yeah, and that's basically it. Thank you for coming to my ridiculous rambling. I hope your pacemakers are working and helping you. Let me know. And if you have any advice on the very bad chest pains, they're not the convulsions of the heart. I thought that was what it was at first, but it feels more muscular. So like if I breathe in, if I tense, if I reach something, it's just, it shouldn't still be hurting. It stopped hurting, 2 months after I had the incision. But anyway, I'm just struggling with some chest pectoral pain. Using heat bags. Let me know if you think ice works better or something. Anyway, goodbye. I love you and happy pacing. Be safe.